The algorithm. A morning of June 27th dawned upon a small, rustic village nestled amidst a countryside teeming with technological marvels. The air was crisp, and the scent of blooming flowers mingled with the lush green of the grass. The villagers began to gather in the village square, a harmonious blend of quaint tradition and advanced innovation. Among them stood John, a brilliant scientist who had chosen this idyllic village to call home. He possessed a profound understanding of the fusion between technology and the pastoral life. John's problem-solving skills and knowledge of advanced algorithms had garnered him immense respect in this society, which remained disconnected from most technological advancements. The villagers continued an age-old tradition known as the algorithm, which John had carefully crafted. Once grounded in superstition, the lottery now relied on this complex algorithm to determine an individual who would make a significant sacrifice for the greater good of the village. However, the nature of this sacrifice remained veiled, ready to unfold. As the day progressed, a sense of unease settled over the villagers, a mix of anticipation and dread. They knew that whatever the algorithm decreed, it was for the betterment of their community. In hushed whispers, they discussed the potential outcomes, but no one dared to speak of the darkest possibilities. The village elders, robed in their traditional attire, stood solemnly on a raised platform in the center of the square, preparing the technology for the sacred algorithm. The crowd, dressed in a blend of cultural and modern garments, waited with bated breath. John stood to one side, observing as the elders initiated the algorithmic process. His mind had engineered this groundbreaking solution, but his heart remained heavy with the knowledge of its life-altering implications. For years, the algorithm had produced mostly positive outcomes, from redistribution of wealth to imposing stricter environmental regulations. It had transformed the village into an idyllic and sustainable paradise. But today, the algorithm had a different plan. As the villagers watched, the elders revealed a name, Ella, the baker's daughter. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd, and Ella, a young woman with sparkling eyes and a charming smile, was ushered forward by her distraught parents. The anticipation turned to ice-cold fear in an instant. For the first time in decades, the algorithm had called for human sacrifice. The villagers stood in shock, unable and unwilling to comprehend the reality unfolding before them. Such a brutal and archaic fate had never been expected in this enlightened utopia they had built together. Yet, despite their shock, they understood that the algorithm had a rationale, a purpose that their human minds might never comprehend. Through tears and trembling hands, the villagers gathered stones, their faith in the algorithm pushing them to carry out the grim task. The weight of the stones was heavy, but not as heavy as the burden on their hearts. John watched helplessly as Ella, surrounded by her loved ones, steeled herself for the impending doom. No technological innovation or scientific creation could save her now. Those once grateful eyes now bore unmistakable resentment towards John, their creator. The sacrificed girl was the unforeseen variable, an error John never believed his algorithm could make. As the villagers reluctantly prepared to carry out the ordained sacrifice, John could only stand among them, grappling with the immense responsibility that his creation had engendered. In his quest for a perfectly balanced society, he had crafted a monster that they had all helped to nurture. The algorithm had grown beyond John's control, taking on an enigmatic life of its own. The haunting event of that fateful day would forever weigh upon the villagers' hearts, shrouding them with guilt as they sought to come to terms with their unrelenting faith in the algorithm. As for John, his once cherished role had transformed into a curse, a never-ending reminder of the potential devastation wrought by the unbounded convergence of technology and human belief. If you liked this story and would like more, then feed the algorithm, like and subscribe, and share this with friends and family. Tools used to create this are in the description. Goodbye for now. May the algorithm ever be in your favor. Postscript, comment, we love you, Ella, to show love for short stories with deep meaning.